Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a speed build of my first ever tiny home, and this was done as a shell challenge for Mithla on Twitch. Definitely go check them out, great builder and lovely friend of mine. And it was quite a challenge. I sat down and did this off stream because I thought that the deadline was a completely different day to what it actually was and I was against the clock. Turns out that that wasn't the case. But I think it took me about 3 hours in total. So not a big build, but obviously it is a tiny home, so there wasn't much for me to do. But the landscaping and just sorting out where everything was going to go, I hadn't done one of these before. I don't think I found it as hard as I thought I would. But it was a challenge to make sure that everything looked spacious and that it all looked nice. So I went for a Tudor style. I decided on that pretty quickly because I recently got Get Together and I was kind of vibing with it. I find building Tudor houses from scratch pretty difficult, but this shell just kind of gave me cottage vibes. The shells have been toured already, and so I've seen what other people did. A lot of people went quite modern because it is 3 boxes, so 2 and 1 stacked on top of 2. But I decided that I'd go old-fashioned, which is kind of a staple for me. I think it's where I feel most comfortable. And I was still trying to use the new items, so I'm trying to go through all of the windows here. And I liked how this turned out. It looks quite spacious on the inside. I didn't expect it to be so roomy. And I do manage to get a double bed in, which I was kind of proud about. At the time of making this, I actually didn't have the tiny living pack. I do now, thankfully, and it's an amazing pack. I was very kindly gifted that by a friend of mine. So this wasn't done with any of the tiny living items. I think it would have had a very different style if it was, because the tiny living ones are very bright and colourful and quite modern. And whilst it was fairly modern on the inside, in the end, I don't think it was as modern as that style. And I did try and bring in some colour, which I don't usually manage to do. But where I placed that dining room table, I assumed that I was going to go for my traditional sort of old-fashioned style, which didn't end up to be the case, because when I got the kitchen in and that started to take on a more black and white colour scheme, I realised that it was probably lending itself more to a modern interior. So it's like the tiny home's been renovated, which I guess is kind of what you would do if you've got a small home. The first thing you want to do is renovate it so that you've got a really nice interior that looks spacious even though it isn't. So I put in this modern kitchen. Those counters I assume that they're old-fashioned because they come in loads of browns and beiges and this marble style which can look quite dated, but with the black and white swatch it actually looks fairly modern. So I just put all the clutter that I love putting in there, these overhead cabinets which at the moment I'm obsessed with. I know there's a lot of controversy around how the kitchen packs don't come with matching counters, but a friend of mine, she actually realised that if they don't come with matching counters, they probably come with matching shelves. So I think I want to explore that in some kitchens soon. Instead of using these cabinets, which look so good, maybe trying to use some shelves. Shelves have their own issues because then you have to clutter them up even further, but maybe that's where I use custom content. Who knows? Have been playing. All of my videos are done completely vanilla. They can all be downloaded from the gallery, and that's kind of why I've stuck to vanilla. It was also before just a restraint from my computer because I used to play on a Surface laptop, which really does not have the graphics or the capability to play Sims. So that was kind of why I didn't buy custom content. It was also some trauma from Sims 3 custom content, if anyone remembers that, and how it would glitch on babies. I was kind of traumatised for a good, it's been 7 years of The Sims, so I've never ever downloaded custom content for The Sims 4, but I think I would like to try it once. It would be pretty cool to do a video of like my first time using custom content, and there are some incredible creators and I'm so jealous of what they come up with. So the living room is kind of taking shape. As you can see, it's a very open floor plan because there's really not many spaces for walls. So just behind this desk, we've got the bathroom that has a bath, a shower, and a toilet in that's going to come. I decided on some orange sofas, and if you've seen any of my videos before, you probably know that colour is not my favourite thing to furnish with in The Sims 4. I find it really, really difficult, but those couches are the best in the game. I know other people have said this as well. They're from Nifty Knitting, and they've just got the best muted colours that go with blacks, beiges, whites, greys. And so they really kind of worked in this room, especially with the bright flooring that I chose, which is base game flooring and is one of my favourites. I would use that in every single house if I could. Like, they go with some styles, not all styles, but I really liked the orange. It meant that I could bring some colour in. I then changed that dining room table to something a bit more modern that fitted with the floor as well. And now I just extended the windows so that it would look a bit more clean. And I really didn't want to put that many more paintings on because I feel like I fill every waking space of wall with paintings, so I decided to change it up and do it with windows instead. And I think the fact that I had the orange in the sofas meant that I kind of went a bit more colourful with the walls. So it took me absolutely ages to decide on what wall colour I wanted. I went back and forth. I thought I decided, and then I decided to switch it up again and change it, but we ended up with green on half of the side and then sort of a beigey pink on the other half. And for someone that doesn't use colour, I was kind of proud of it. It's probably really bad, and you could probably do much better than me, but I just really struggle with it. I think I would say that my style of building is quite realistic, and the UK doesn't have that much boho in it, which is very colourful, and packs like Movie Day and City Living really lend themselves to a much more bohemian style, which I've never been inside a house like that, so I really couldn't tell you what it looked like to then furnish it in The Sims 4. And there's a whole issue with whether swatches match and colours, and if you decide to do a purple styled room, how many different shades you have and things like that I really struggle with. So where I can put colour in, I'm really now trying to. I just need a lot of practice with it. And this is the bathroom just coming together. I went quite modern for that as well. I find it really difficult to do old-fashioned bathrooms. And I think that is kind of because the old-fashioned tiles that we have, or wallpapers, are just so disgusting that I would never want to use them. So I kind of steer clear and go for a more modern style where we have much nicer floorings and wallpapers for. Because that's the thing that I always do first in a bathroom, is choose what wall colour I'm having. And that kind of sets the whole vibe for the bathroom, I find. Which, as you can see in the bedroom, I just don't do. In a bedroom or a lounge or living room, I always go for the furnishing first and then choose the walls after, but some reason in a bathroom I do it the opposite way around. Kind of works for me. Do you guys have any particular thing that you always do first? I know some people start with bathrooms in their house because then it makes them feel a bit more finished by the time they've done like the 3 bathrooms and haven't spent that much time on it. But what do you do? Let me know in the comments down below if you have a rhythm to your building every time. This, I also went for modern. Once I'd done the bathroom in grey, I don't know, I just chose to do the bedroom in grey as well. But I think because it's quite modern and the grey is quite light, it makes the room seem a lot bigger than it is. And as I said, I was kind of happy that I managed to get a double bed in there, but I haven't player tested it. I assume that it's all functional. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be, but I really probably should have player tested it before I put it on the gallery and submitted it. I need to get better at that, and I will try. And I was just cluttering up the room, and then the house was pretty much finished. We just had lights to do, and then I went on to the landscaping. But that's the start of the house. The landscaping will come. How have you all been with this horrible situation that's going on in the world? I am still in lockdown in the UK. It's been a month and a half now, I think. We went in on the 31st of January. No, 31st of December, and we're still here. So I'm in lockdown. I start my job in 2 weeks' time, I think, or almost less than that. Oh God, a week's time, almost. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I also kind of don't want to leave the fact that I've just had like this content creation hobby to do over the last month and a half, which I'm really enjoying, and I don't know how I'm going to fit everything in after that. So if content wanes a little bit on this channel, I'm really sorry, but I'm hoping that I can kind of keep to a schedule. You've probably noticed that I've got more videos coming out than I ever have before, and hopefully I can keep some of that up. That was what was new. I also bit the bullet and finally paid for some software. Before this, I you probably haven't realised, but I sped up my videos by doubling the speed on OBS and re-recording them. So a 3-hour video like this would then be recorded into an hour and a half video, then a 45-minute video, and then down to sort of a 20-minute video that I would then edit. So it's much quicker now. In Adobe, I can just press a button and it halves it and quarters it and does all of that all in one step for me. So that's pretty good. And it means that I've probably got more time and more computer space to actually produce videos. So that's really helping me with doing highlight videos and uploading my VODs and things like that. So that's really exciting. It also means I've got Photoshop because I use this student discount, which I shouldn't really be able to have now that I've graduated from uni, but it's really good because I still have access to my university email, and that's really helping me for things like uni days and whatever. If you are a recent graduate, check if you have it, because you can still get a whole load of savings without being a student, which I love and I'm taking the most advantage of that I can. So that's how I got Adobe. I got the whole of it, and so I've been able to do thumbnails in Photoshop, change audios in Audition, and I'm using Premiere. It's been a bit of a learning curve, but I am really enjoying it, and that's kind of what my channel was here for, is to learn about all these things and these softwares. It's really a really good opportunity for me to now learn about another type of software, and it really, to be honest, for the whole of Adobe for £16 a month, I don't think that's that bad. So it's given me a lot of fun, and hopefully it means that I can make better content for you all and that you enjoy it and I can get more stuff out there. So back to the house, we went for a more, I think I'd call it quite a professional looking back garden. You've got a place to entertain, you've got the barbecue, I'm just popping in a tree here, and I really liked it, and it's a nice little spot to sit under. Where I used to live in London, we had this weeping willow tree, and in there was it kind of hung down to the floor, and in there was a bench, and if I ever needed some quiet time in the garden with the birds chirping or something, I would always go sit on that bench because you felt enclosed. And I think I put that into a lot of my houses because I just really love the feel of, I don't know, sitting under a tree, which is kind of ironic considering I really don't leave the house much at the moment, but it has been freezing. I have, however, been the really sad person that has got absolutely no snow. We had flakes. We had a dusting of snow one day, but that was about 3 weeks after everyone else in the country got snow. And I'm so jealous, considering I was hoping to be in the Alps all winter this winter on a ski season. For me to not even get snow and the whole of the UK to be under like a foot of it is so sad. We were just putting the finishing touches to this house. I actually changed the front garden because I realised that it needed a path up to the garden gate because I hadn't put a back door in the house. But that's the finished build. So if you liked this video, please do leave a comment down below, like the video, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you all next time.